Good morning, my fellow gorehounds, and welcome back to a blood splattered stream. I'm the Horror Guru, and I have not slept at all tonight. And it is now Sunday morning, so I figured, why not stream for an hour before I go to bed? So, hope you got some good questions and interesting topics of conversation. If not, whatever. It is what it is. Let's have some fun. And now with that all said, let me get some things set up here. Let's see. Okay, so there's that. Now we got the chat set up. Let me adjust the camera a little bit. There we go. That way I'm a little bit more in the actual frame. All right. Hey, Guru, how's your October treating you? My October is treating me okay. I have a little bit of like depression. I don't know what else to call it. It's like seasonal sadness, except it's not yet like the holidays. And it's making it hard to sleep. So it is what it is. Hello from Bangkok, says Jay Tilton. Hello from San Francisco, says me. Hello, nurse. I mean, Horror. Hey, Raven. How are you doing? Let me tweet out that we're streaming. I'm so bad at letting people know. Oh, man. Copy that. How do I sound, by the way? New microphone, so testing some things out. Hope you feel good today. I'll probably be fine once I get some sleep. That tends to be how it is for me. I get like weird in my head and depressed, and then like I have trouble sleeping, but when I finally do sleep, like I wake up feeling like everything's okay. Until it happens again on a different night. Hey, Way of Games, how are you doing? Sound good? Excellent. All right. Tweeted that out, or X'd that out, whatever we call it now. I'm going to call it tweet till its dying day. I decided to pin my original one sheet of Bad Moon to the wall because framing is so expensive, and now immediate regret. Oh, I get that, because you had to put a hole in it to put it up there. But hey, at least it's up there to be enjoyed. Like, the damage is done at this point, right? Coming in 5x5, good to know. All right, now I've blue skied it out, which I think is called a skeet. Even blue sky, I'm going to call it a tweet because fuck it. Oh, man. I thought about maybe like booting up a stream and playing a game, but given my negative mood, I figured after what happened in the last stream, when I got stream sniped by those randos that came into the stream because I was playing that game, I don't know if I want to risk that with my my low mental state at the moment. Oh, man. To be fair, though, if I booted up like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, it wouldn't be a problem because you can't really stream snipe in that game. But whatever. Oh, man. Recently watched The Boogeyman, the movie that came out over the summer, the Stephen King adaptation. Surprisingly good. I enjoyed that movie a lot. Really good monster, really good effects. Does the whole like you got to stay in the light thing from like Darkness Falls, but like way better. Yeah, I enjoyed the movie. It's like a solid like 8 out of 10 horror movie. Solid monster movie. It does have a little bit of that like monster equals grief a little bit, but it's more that the monster feeds on grief than the monster actually represents grief. It's not like it doesn't go full Babadook. I wouldn't have minded if it did, but it was kind of refreshing to watch a movie that was just like more so a straight up horror monster movie that wasn't trying to go the more artsy route. Not that I don't mind the artsy route. Plenty of movies I've enjoyed that have gone the artsy route. I don't know what I'm saying. I'm saying something though. So how's October treating the rest of you so far? Ended up watching Phantasm 4 and I actually enjoyed it. Nice. After work, I'm going to watch Jacob's Ladder. Ooh. If you haven't already seen Jacob's Ladder yet, you're in for a treat. And if you have already seen Jacob's Ladder, then you know what a treat you're in for. Watching the 2023 version of The Haunted Mansion, I liked it. I really liked the 2023 version of The Haunted Mansion. It's leaps and bounds better than the Eddie Murphy version. It helps that I really liked the characters in the movie. The movie, despite having some bombastic scares at certain moments, actually managed to keep itself a more contained story, as opposed to the Eddie Murphy version, which tried to be a big blockbuster. And I kind of appreciated that it kept itself a little bit smaller. And of course, Danny DeVito steals the show every time he's on screen. Same thing with Owen Wilson. Both of them managed to be completely funny in a way Eddie Murphy could not in the other movie. Also, I just really like that dude in the lead. The dude from Get Out and Sorry to Bother You. He rocks. I always love seeing that guy in movies. I don't know if it is available in the US, but Thailand has a Netflix murder mystery called The Murderer. Ooh. I'll have to check that out. I don't know if it's on Netflix right now, but I haven't actually checked for it, so it might be. October was pretty good so far. I recently watched Pet Sematary Bloodlines. That's next on my list to check out. So far, I've heard that it's pretty good, but the cinematography is way too dark. Like, literally, people have trouble seeing things in that movie, apparently. I'm back. Will you watch Night Swim in cinemas January 5th, 2024? I can't promise I will watch it in theaters, but I'll definitely check out Night Swim at some point. I'm looking forward to that movie. I can never promise these days if I'm going to make it out to the theaters because so much shit gets in the way. I used to go to the theaters before the pandemic like once a week, and I just never got back into the habit of it, which is weird because it was such like a huge part of my life for so long. And then sometime around when the pandemic started, it just stopped being a thing I normally did. And to be completely honest, I still sometimes have fear of like catching COVID in a theater too. That might be part of it. Pet Sematary Bloodlines was mad the director basically made her own film, not a Pet Sematary one. That could go either way for me. I'll have to check it out. Pet Sematary is not exactly a franchise that I really care if there's a formula for, if that makes sense. Because there's Pet Sematary. There's the Pet Sematary remake, which kind of shifts some things. And then there's like Pet Sematary 2, the old one, which completely, does its own thing. So it's not like a franchise that's like set in stone the way like, a Friday the 13th film introduces a bunch of teens who, have sex, do drugs, and then get picked off one by one. It doesn't have the same kind of formulaic nature. So I'm a little bit more open to someone doing their own thing. I don't have like a set expectation, if that makes sense. Hopefully I'm making sense. Lakeith Stanfield is the name of the actor. Yes, that guy. And I hope I pronounced that correctly. If I didn't, I apologize. But yes, I love Lakeith. He is badass. Sometimes you like an actor, not just because they're good at their job, like not just because they're good at getting into roles and stuff. I just like hearing that dude's voice. It's just so pleasing to the ears. Not to say he isn't good at his job. He is phenomenal at his job. He is leaps and bounds beyond most of his peers. It's just, I also just really liked hearing that dude's voice every time he talks. It's about a Thai cop who suspects the English guy in his town of murder. Ooh. And is he right or is he wrong? I do like murder mysteries, so I'll probably check it out at some point. Murder mysteries are definitely one of my I don't want to say guilty pleasures because I don't feel guilty about it, but one of those things that always kind of hits me right. Will you watch the Wolf Creek film in space where Mick Taylor is on NASA? If they're making a Wolf Creek film in space, you can bet your ass I will be there with bells on. Because that is an insane idea. I have no idea how it's going to work, but I gotta find out. Hell yeah. To be fair, though, I feel that way about any movie going to space. It's like, hey, Chucky goes to space. I gotta find out how that happens. Oh, hey, Wishmaster in space. I gotta see how that goes. Candyman in space. All right, I don't know how we're gonna make that work, but I gotta see it. Did you enjoy the It's a Wonderful Knife trailer? Hell yeah. I really like this recent subgenre of it's a slasher movie based on X. So like it's a slasher movie based on Groundhog Day, Happy Death Day. It's a slasher movie based on Freaky Friday, Freaky, which I really wish was allowed to use its original title because its original title was Freaky Friday the 13th. Perfect title. I wish they were allowed to do it. I'm so glad It's a Wonderful Knife has been allowed to use its title. How about Tigers Are Not Afraid in Space? Now that like that great example, that right there, that is utterly ridiculous. Will probably be terrible, but I have to find out. How does that work? Totally Killer, which just came out. Back to the Future, but slasher killer. I love it. I'm loving this subgenre, and I can't get enough of it. And the funny thing is, what I like about this particular slasher gimmick is that it can't really get old because it's taking a new movie premise each time. Like, it's very easy to get tired of Happy Death Day's premise if you watch that over and over again. But Happy Death Day, followed by Freaky, followed by Totally Killer, like each of them have completely different premises. They just share the fact that they're based on like an old movie. And it's a different old movie each time. Though, to be fair, Happy Death Day is hard to get sick of too, because Happy Death Day 2 went insane as a sequel and just decided to do its own thing. I watched Scream 6 a few nights ago, and the best thing about it was the guy watching Jason Takes Manhattan. That actually brings up a good point. Because you know how Scream often, it's all about commenting on whatever the trends of horror, in particular the trends of slasher movies, what they are. And the most recent one was commenting on the whole like requel thing. You know, Scream 2018, Candyman, the most recent Candyman, like commenting on that kind of movie where it's a sequel but also a reboot so it kind of comes across like a remake, but it's also not. I would like to see a Scream movie comment on the current slasher trend of movie butt X. Slasher butt X. I would like to see Scream start commenting on that, because that's a current trend. We've got a couple movies that have done it so far, and it'd be cool to see Scream actually do something with that, especially since the guy who directed 2 of those movies is now directing the next Scream movie. So I apologize if I come in and out of chat, but like I said, I'm at work, so I might miss out on the discussion. That's totally fine. Do what you need to do, Dr. Waluigi. Would you watch Martyrs in Space? I have no idea how that would work, but I'd have to find out, right? It'd probably be terrible. It's an awful idea. But it's Martyrs in Space. I have to watch it. Just on principle. Oh, man. Whew. Yeah. I can't think of a movie where it wouldn't qualify. The only place it wouldn't qualify if it's a movie already in space. Like Alien in Space, we've already seen. You know? That's the only time adding in space to something doesn't really add anything. Or at least doesn't pique my interest. Ooh, Talk to Me. That's a good movie. One of the year's best, definitely. A24 and God, what are their names? They're Australian YouTubers who directed and wrote that movie. They did a great job with that movie. I look forward to whatever movies they make next. Talk to Me in Space. I mean, I imagine that hand would last a space travel thing, so I'd see it. I'd see Talk to Me in Space. Why not? I have a really big playlist of synthwave stuff, and sometimes it surprises me what music comes up in it. They're all from 2 creators, Karl Casey, White Bat Audio, and Harris Heller, Streambeats. I'm pretty sure this is a Harris Heller song because it doesn't sound like a White Bat Audio song. How about The Exorcist in Space? I mean, I'm surprised that it hasn't happened yet, to be completely honest. If not in the Exorcist franchise, I'm surprised no one's made a knockoff Exorcist movie in space. That just seems like something someone would have tried at some point. And yes, I'd watch it. Didn't they do like an Amityville in space recently? Was that like a fever dream in my head, or did that actually happen? I swear that's a thing that exists. I mean, it's probably like an Asylum knockoff because they like slapping Amityville on anything because they have no reason why they can't. It's the name of a street. It's not copywritten. The only movie I've seen in 2023 is Evil Dead Rise, but I didn't care for it. Oh, that's too bad. Evil Dead Rise, I thought, rocked a lot. But hey, if it ain't your thing, it ain't your thing. You gotta do what you gotta do. They did Amityville in space, and I had the misfortune of watching it on Tubi. On the bright side, that is the perfect circumstance to watch Amityville in space on Tubi, where it's free. Little Shop of Horrors in space would be awesome. Like, that's one I can totally imagine in my head. Especially if you, like, spin off from, like, the ending of Little Shop of Horrors, where, like, turns into like a giant kaiju thing. Like you could go back to like the home world of the little alien Audrey 2. The little Venus flytrap. Little Audrey 2. Since they already come from space. Here's one for you. Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey in Space. Space might actually improve Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, so maybe. Because, hey, one of my arguments for Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey and that entire, like, subgenre of slasher movie version... Hold on. Slasher adaptation of a children's property that recently went into public domain. My whole problem with that particular subgenre is that the movies they're making aren't dumb enough. They need to be dumber. They need to be dumber and more fun. And hey, Winnie the Pooh slasher in space, that's dumber. Last space one, how about the Diltalov Pass incident in space? Yeah. I don't know. Maybe. I'm still going to vote yes. I love my little Hellfire Club water jug. I don't know what these are called. They're like the water bottle, I guess. Good morning, R. Ryle M. How are you doing? The Dillatov Pass incident was a real thing. You see, I didn't even know what it was. I just rolled with it. I could just go for more sci-fi horror like Galaxy of Terror. Fuck yeah. I would love for a resurgence of like the Galaxy of Terror style, like cheesy space horror / adventure. I get that the trailers of Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, and Mean One look a lot better than the movies from what I've heard. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. Hey, Guru, will you be watching John Woo's dialogue-free action film Silent Night coming December 1st? I am pretty sure you've asked this question or someone's asked this question the last, 3 streams, but yes, I will most likely watch that movie at some point. I like John Woo, and I'm down with him doing a dialogue-free Christmas film. Winnie the Pooh in space sounds dumb as poo, but I love the idea. Awake and happy for an extra day off tomorrow. It's Canadian Thanksgiving. Well, happy Canadian Thanksgiving to you. I don't know how you guys celebrate your Thanksgiving, but may it be a joyous occasion. Oh, man. I can't believe the first week of October is almost over. I feel like it just flew by. I had so many things I wanted to do, and I did some of them, but not enough of them. Thanks to Good Bad Flicks, I saw Bad Moon. Such a cool concept. Family dog versus werewolf. Yeah, that's a good movie. I wonder if Eli Roth's Thanksgiving film will release a month early in Canada. I doubt it, but it'd be funny if it did. The trailer looks like old school Woo. Yeah, exactly. Like The Killer and Hard Boiled. I mean, I have to watch that. I love The Killer and Hard Boiled. A Better Tomorrow. Classic John Woo. Pretty much less fanfare than Americans. All right, sounds about right. Sounds about right. Thank you all for coming to this stream. I realize it is really early in the morning, and for some of you, you are just starting your days, and for some others of you, you are ending your days. Either way, thank you for sharing this occasion with me. There's nothing special about this occasion. It's just an occasion. Any Thanksgiving movie that gets made tends to be released when the states celebrate it because Thanksgiving is more well known around November. Yeah, it makes sense. I also imagine that North American releases are usually more synced up. Like if America's getting it at a certain date, Canada's going to get it around the same time. Sometimes they don't line up, but usually they do. It's not like the UK who gets our movies like months later. Or poor Australia. The Dyatlov Pass incident was an incident where a group of climbers were found dead, torn up figuratively and a little literally. No one could really figure out how they did. Well, in that case, I have no idea how that would work as a space movie. and now I'd have to find out how. See, now you still got me with the space movie thing. Now, because it's such a ridiculous concept to take to space, I have to find out how it works. Hey, it's just past 8 p.m. here, so no big deal to watch. Rock on. Did watch April Fool's Day this year on first time. What the fuck was that ending? Yeah, that ending gets everyone the first time. For the longest time, it's what April Fool's Day was known for, was that ending. It's an ending that no one knows what happened. Yeah. Nothing like chilling with a little synthwave. Let it wash over you. I watched The Exorcist Believer, and God played a trick on me to watch it. Yeah, I've heard very mixed things about that movie. I have some friends that really swear by it, and others that just despise it. So I'll have to check it out for myself and find out. I thought the trailer looked good, which is more than I can say than some of my friends. So I might end up liking it. I might end up liking it more than some. We'll see. Maybe like Aliens, but with space climbers. they're climbing an asteroid. All right, that might be a nice twist. Man, the extreme temperatures on an asteroid would be way worse. You would get fire, you would get heat, you would get cold. Damn. I guess not fire specifically because it's space, but you know what I mean. Are you looking forward to Godzilla -1? Hell to the yeah. That looks awesome. I didn't like The Exorcist Believer, but I thought the trailer was good. So it might not bode well for me. We'll see. I got a question for everyone in the chat. What's an underrated Toho monster that needs more attention? I'm looking for movies to watch, and I know Varan is a monster I've never heard of. Honestly, the only thing I can think of is their Frankenstein films, but that's just because I'm working on I'm working on a video for Godzilla versus King Kong, or King Kong versus Godzilla, the original Toho version. And so I talk a lot about Toho's Frankenstein movie at one point, because originally Toho's King Kong versus Godzilla film started off as a Frankenstein versus Godzilla film. That's actually why King Kong gets electric powers out of nowhere in the King Kong versus Godzilla movie, because he was originally supposed to be Frankenstein, and Frankenstein, lightning, electricity, you get it. And then Toho eventually went on to make their own Frankenstein movie, and he was basically just a fucking caveman. Until very recently, no joke, someone used the animating program from Frozen to recreate the conditions in simulation, and it's possible it was an avalanche. Damn. That's hilarious. I mean, it's not hilarious what happened to them, but it's hilarious that someone was able to figure that out using that method. Ibira. Ooh, that's the crab, right? The lobster? The terror from the deep. That is a cool fact, RYLM. That is wild. The fact that they used Frozen to create those conditions, that's amazing. I love it. I know some people think they were killed by a Yeti. Of course there are people that think they were killed by a Yeti. Of course. Godzilla versus the Sea Monster. Oh, yeah. I love some of those American titles of Godzilla films. Like, at one point, Godzilla versus Mothra was Godzilla versus the Thing. What? At least Godzilla versus the Blob makes sense. It makes sense even though he's technically not the Blob. You at least see how they put that together. How the fuck did they get the Thing out of fucking Mothra? There's a low-budget parody movie I want to check out called Death Kappa, but I don't think that's a Toho movie. I mean, now I want to watch Death Kappa. What we all really want is Godzilla versus Pacific Rim. That would be awesome. I would love that. I remember when Guillermo del Toro was teasing that possibility, but then it never happened. Godzilla versus the Blob is Godzilla versus Hedorah. When it was brought over here, it was given the name Godzilla versus the Blob at one point. Now most people refer to it as Godzilla versus Hedorah because, you know. And at one point it was Godzilla versus the Smog Monster after it was the Blob. These movies have a lot of titles here in the States. Question for the chat. Give me your Poe recommendations. I've seen Mask of the Red Death and I plan to watch Flanagan's Fall of the House of Usher. Ooh. Crazy Chibi. I'm excited about Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein. So am I. Did he officially cast Christoph Waltz as Frankenstein or is he playing someone else? I saw that he was cast in the movie, but I didn't see who he was cast as. Would you watch a remake of Tobe Hooper's Crocodile? Sure. Sure, why not? Whether or not I'd be excited to watch it will depend upon who's making it, really. And, of course, like a trailer and all that, you know. Doesn't look good. Poe film The Pale Blue Eye. Nice, nice, nice. I'm so drawing a blank on Poe films in my head, and I know there's a bunch. Or like how we had Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla as the cosmic monster versus the space monster. Uwe Boll would remake Crocodile. In that case, I wouldn't look forward to it. Uwe Boll, like, I know some people enjoy his movies in a so bad they're good way, but they're just unwatchable to me. I don't have fun with them. did watch Stonehurst Asylum. It's based on a short story, The System of Dr. Tar and the Professor Feather. Oh, I didn't know that. Cool. Rock on. I would also recommend Battle Heater, The Killer, Kotatsu. It's a gooder movie that's Japanese with the same Sam Raimi twist. Sounds fun. The only Poe movie I can think of is The Raven with John Cusack. The one where he solves mysteries. Have you seen Battle Royale 2? Yeah, it's not as good as Battle Royale 1. I've seen one Ooh Bull film, In the Name of the King. It was so bad and boring, I might have fallen asleep while watching it. Exactly. You just summed up my problem with Ooh Bull films. They aren't even entertainingly bad most of the time. They're just fucking boring and bad. So, like, you end up, like, instead of, like, enjoying the badness, you either end up falling asleep or just end up being annoyed at how fucking boring it is. I've seen both of the House of the Dead films. Oh, I am so sorry. I've seen those like a grand total of like twice, and I regretted it every time. And every time I've like tried to sit down and rewatch them, no, not happening. His Postal movie is his best, in my opinion. I can see that. It has the most going for it, which is not something I can say for most of his movies. Most of his movies have nothing going for them. Postal actually has some stuff going for it. I do actually have a Poe recommendation, but here's the thing. It has nothing to do with Edgar Allan Poe. But Lucio Fulci, the Italian master of gore, adapted Edgar Allan Poe's The Black Cat into a cat slasher movie. I'm going to repeat that. Lucio Fulci adapted The Black Cat by Edgar Allan Poe and made a cat slasher movie. It's just called The Black Cat. Now, is it a good movie? Depends upon how you look at it. Is it an entertaining movie? Yes. Yes, it is. So there's a Poe recommendation. The Black Cat. Lucio Fulci's The Black Cat. Not to be confused with Cat in the Brain. Cat in the Brain is the movie in which Lucio Fulci plays himself, and he's going insane because the images of his own movies have driven him insane. I actually want to see that Black Cat movie. Well, I recommend it. Oh yeah, there's a couple of Masters of Horror based on Edgar Allan Poe, if I recall. Yeah. I've seen garbage like Monstered and Attack of the Killer Donuts. Yeah. Those are more entertaining than the average Jewel Bull movie. Let that sink in. Hey, Falxifer, how you doing? Looks like Waltz has been added. No confirmation on what character is playing. Either way, I hope Guillermo del Toro continues his trend of sexy monsters. I mean, he's got two modes. Either the monsters are going to be fucking awesome and great, or they're going to be sexy and awesome. You know, you're either going to get Pacific Rim, or you're going to get The Shape of Water. I'm cool with either one. The Raven and the Black Cat starring Boris Karloff and Bela Lugosi I can recommend. Yeah, most of those most of those adaptations are good. The Roger Corman adaptations are pretty memorable. Yeah. I saw Believer. It's nowhere near as bad as critics say. Shocking. All right. Now I've had like one person come in and say it's not that bad and someone else come in and say it's terrible. So this stream has got all sorts of opinions. I'll obviously see for myself eventually. I have a feeling I'm going to enjoy the movie better than most. Because every time I see people complaining about aspects of the movie, they don't sound like things that are going to bug me, to be completely honest. Or they just sound like completely inaccurate. You liked Mask of the Red Death? Yep, that was a good one. Corman liked to go all psychedelic with his adaptations, and I always liked that element of the Corman adaptations. Plus, anytime you get Vincent Price doing anything Edgar Allan Poe, perfect combo. Oh, you said it was boring, not terrible. Fair enough, Amy. Fair enough. I stand corrected. One that I gave up on watching was a Shudder original. There's a couple bad ones. There's a couple good ones. Shudder originals, like there's some bad ones. But overall, I tend to like a lot of the Shudder originals. Did dislike one thing. It's definitely a part one, and it doesn't end on a cliffhanger, but it leaves open threads. Gotcha. Yeah. I got that impression from some people. Makes sense. I do think it was a mistake to try to like bank a whole franchise instead of just doing one really solid movie first. I think he needed a Halloween 2018 like level of like a complete movie before jumping into doing sequels. Just IMO. It was a Poe Shudder movie? Oh, interesting. Wasn't there an Edgar Allan Poe movie recently that like starred Christian Bale on like Netflix or something? That was pretty good. I can't remember what it was called though. Had the actor played Peter Pevensies from the Narnia movies. I don't know if I've watched that one. Oh, you said the pale blue eye. You're right, Amy. You did. You did. To be fair, Amy, I did say I forgot the name of the movie. El Conde was super. Thank you for your content. Thank you so much, Epiphany's Realm, for the super chat, and I'm glad you enjoyed the movie. That movie, like, I don't think a lot of people know about that movie, but I think a lot of people will get more out of that movie than they thought. I just want you to know, Epiphany's Realm, I don't know if you're a One Piece fan, but I totally, in my head, read El Conde was super in the Frankie voice. El Conde was super! Need to watch it, Neon Ghost Wolf? I recommend it. It's like I said in our vlog on it, it is a art house foreign film. If you're okay with that, you're going to have a good time. I don't know if I've seen that much Poe adaptations besides a couple. Rock on. Hey, Guru, not a lot of people watched El Conde. Yeah. I'm assuming as much. It doesn't seem to be like a super well-known movie. That's why I really liked covering it. Believer actually has the same issue as The Exorcist 3. The exorcism itself was the least interesting part. That sounds right. That sounds about right. The problem, to be fair, that's a problem most Exorcist movies have at this point. How is the One Piece live action show? Oh, it's great. It's great. perfect cast. They have done a good job condensing stuff in a way that keeps the most important stuff and kind of gets rid of all the filler stuff. And there's even some elements that I think they've actually improved upon. I think they've toning down Sanji so that he's still, you know, a horn dog, but not so aggressively like Pepe Le Pew, I think is actually an improvement. Jamie Lee Curtis wants to be in the One Piece series. Yes. Chopper. The character of Chopper has a mother figure in One Piece who Jamie Lee Curtis wants to play. She's basically known as a witch in the woods, but actually she's a doctor. And she's this badass that wears this leather jacket and like takes no shit from no one. Yeah, I really hope Jamie Lee Curtis gets that role. She said she wants to be in it. The people who made the show want her in it. I hope she gets cast. We just got like the actors' strike has to end before anything can move forward with that. Like the Exorcist prequels. Oh man. I mean, good on you, man. Wasn't a fan, but if you like them, you like them. I wish more Exorcist movies could be in tone with a dark song. Yes. Agreed. Holy shit. That movie was actually interesting when it went into all that weird ritual shit. Will you watch Bird Box Barcelona? I keep forgetting to watch it, to be completely honest. It's like on my list of movies that came out this year that I want to see. But as you can see, since I just watched The Haunted Mansion and I just watched The Boogeyman, I am working through my back catalog a little bit. Some of the movies I missed. You watched a Dark Song 1 year ago today? Oh man, what a coincidence. Nice. A while back, I had to explain to one of my Gen Z friends why Margaret Thatcher is so loathed by the horror community and the whole video nasties thing. Nice. Nice. I would argue the horror community should probably hate her for more reasons than just that. But hey, you take what you can get. Oh, man. But yeah, the video nasties thing was horrible. Those poor fucking video store owners who ended up in jail over that. Their life completely upended. So fucked up. This is entirely an out of the blue question, but how do you maintain your beard? I just love it. I am the laziest motherfucker in the world when it comes to maintaining my hygiene. I basically just wash it with shampoo, not beard shampoo, just normal ass shampoo, and then I trim it with a razor whenever it gets too long. That's basically it. Like one of those electric razors, like you know how they have like little heads, and the heads are each numbers, and each number, the lower you get, the more close shave it is. I usually just shave it at a 3 whenever it gets too long, and then let it grow out again. And that's just what I keep doing. Nothing more complicated than that. Hey Guru, do you know Cody Leach is apolitical and hates far right people? Rock on for him, man. Well, that's good. I mean, I don't know if anyone can truly be apolitical. I know he tries to keep his content apolitical for the most part. But I believe him when he says he hates far right people, because it's hard not to. You have to really be a piece of shit to not hate far right people. But anyway, good for him. You know, rock on, Cody. I did have a brief period of time where I tried experimenting with like other ways to maintain and structure my beard, and they just ended up being too much of a hassle and taking too much time. I'm one of those guys who likes to get into the shower, get my shave, and get out as quick as possible. So anything that makes me spend too much time in the bathroom than I want to, I just try to simplify. I do have a balding, like a electric razor for my head that's like shaped so that you can, bulge your head with it. It's technically called a balder. I have one of those. I recently got one of those. For the longest time, I was just using a normal ass, razor on my head. And I kept cutting my head all the time, and it got annoying. And eventually I bit the bullet and bought the electric razor for my head. Do you think we need more VHS films? Yes, I think they should make them as long as they want to make them. Because you know what's great about VHS? You can't get tired of it. It's an anthology series. They're either going to be good stories or bad stories. But you can't get tired of the concept because it's a new thing each movie. VHS 85 just came out. It's great. It's a blast. And the last few VHS films, VHS 94, VHS 99, and VHS 85, are some of the most consistent ones they've made yet. So, as far as I'm concerned, while they're still on top, keep making them. Eventually, they'll make another VHS viral, and it'll be lesser, and yada, yada, yada. But hey, while you're on the winning streak, strike while the iron is hot. As far as hair care, I have two phases. Fall, I go full on Uncle Fester. Nice. And spring, I let the hermit out. Nice. Frankie Bowie had the best joke. For the cost of a state funeral, you could give every man in Scotland a shovel and we would dig a hole deep enough. Nice. Still need to watch the latest VHS movie. I enjoyed it. It is weird though. I think it's the first VHS film where don't get me wrong, I liked all the segments, but it's the first VHS film where I liked the wraparound the best. Normally the wraparound is the most forgettable segment of the VHS films, but I actually liked it the best in this one. And the fact that I liked all the other segments just shows how good the wraparound is. VHS Viral is a guilty pleasure of mine. Don't get me wrong, there's some good segments in VHS Viral. It just overall as a package didn't work for me the way the rest of the VHS franchise has. I have only seen a few found footage movies, and of the ones I've seen, I can't stand them. Yeah, if you don't care for found footage, then obviously it's not going to work for you. That makes sense. Have you watched Castlevania Nocturne? I have not yet. Jack has started watching it, seems to be enjoying it, but I haven't started it yet. I've been working through a bunch of stuff that I got in my back catalog, and things keep piling up. Peace out, RYLM, and thank you for tuning in. Will you watch Edgar Wright's Don't film? If he wants to make a Don't, I will 100% watch it. I think of all the Grindhouse trailers, though, Don't has the least potential to be made because its concept because of two reasons. Number one, the whole joke is the trailer. Don't. That joke isn't going to work in the movie itself. You can't just have the narrator the entire movie just saying don't the whole time the way you can in the trailer. The second reason why I don't think Don't will ever be made into a movie is the whole premise of the trailer, as per Edgar Wright, is that the movie is supposed to be footage from 5 different movies that were spliced together into a fake movie trailer. So it's not supposed to be a coherent concept. It's supposed to be a scam. That being said, if he were to make the movie, I'd be there. I'd watch it because I love Edgar Wright. I'm sure he'd come up with something. Anime does that to you? Yeah. I am still working through my rewatch of One Piece. Though, to be fair, that's been one of the few things that have been staving off my depression. So even though it means I'm not watching other things, at least I'm feeling pretty good when I'm watching it. Yeah, if the narrator just saying don't for 90 minutes wouldn't work, right? You know? Rob Zombie's Werewolf Women of the SS could work as a movie. Like, I can see how that movie would actually be made. The only reason why I think that one won't be made is mainly because Rob Zombie just wants nothing to do with anything Weinstein. And I know for the longest time that the rights to that trailer was owned by Weinstein. He might be able to get the rights to it now, but I think he's moved on. Rob fucking hated the Weinsteins so much, which has been confirmed in some recent interviews, actually. For the longest time, I suspected it, but he's actually confirmed it recently. I got Evil Dead Rise in my collection now. Rock on, Amy. Edgar Wright did a Q&A/masterclass with Martin Scorsese yesterday. Now that is awesome. Holy shit. I need to look that up and watch it. That sounds awesome. That's one of those, I want to be a fly on that wall. Wait, I can be. I just got to find the footage. Just got an emulator to play vintage games. The classic 8-bit Castlevania / PlayStation 1 Castlevania games are undefeated. Rock on. Yeah, I love some old school gaming. Yeah, like there was a recent interview where Rob just spilled all the beans on what hell it was working on the Halloween movies for the Weinsteins. He also openly admitted in that interview that he originally, when he signed that like 4-picture deal with the Weinsteins, he thought he was going to be making 4 movies that he wanted to make. But the Weinsteins were like, oh, if you sign this picture deal, we want you to make Halloween. He's like, okay, so he makes Halloween. But then after Halloween, he was like, I don't want to make another Halloween movie. I want to make something else. I'm going to make Tyrannosaurus Rex, which is his biker, a post-apocalyptic biker movie that he wanted to make with starring Tyler Mane. And the Weinsteins were like, no, you signed a 4-picture deal with us. We want you to do Halloween 2. He thought he was going to have control over the movies in that picture deal he was going to make, and he didn't. So they basically forced him into making Halloween 2, and he negotiated with Weinstein that if he made Halloween 2, their picture deal would be over, and he could move on with his career. So Halloween 2 was literally made by Rob Zombie as a fuck you to the Weinsteins. That's why it's so utterly insane and nothing like anything Halloween, because he didn't want to make it and did it kicking and screaming. And it was only made so that he could get out of ever having to work with the Weinsteins again. I had suspected that was like somewhat the series of events, but we officially got a confirmation recently, and damn, it was wild to hear. Good morning, Maddie. How you doing? Watched David Cronenberg's Crimes of the Future yesterday. Nice. Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 is incoherent. Yes, and all the things I just said are why. Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 is a protest against the Weinsteins. That's why the movie's incoherent. That's why he didn't put like any effort into making it make sense. He's like, if you're going to make me make this movie, first off, I'm going to make the most ridiculous movie you'll ever see. It'll not be the movie you want it to be, Mr. Weinstein. And second off, if we make this movie, I'm out. We're done with this contract. And hey, the rest is history. He went to Blumhouse and made The Lords of Salem and continued his career beyond the Weinsteins. But that is also why, because the Weinsteins were part of Grindhouse and Werewolf Women of the SS, why he's probably not going to make Werewolf Women of the SS anytime soon unless he specifically gets the rights back. Can't wait for the WGA strike. Oh, a WGA strike film starring SAG actors? I don't know if they're ever going to make a movie on that, to be honest. Honestly, I'm hoping that the negotiations go well for SAG right now. Because for those of you who don't know, the Writers Guild ended their strike because they reached a deal in which they pretty much got everything they wanted. And now SAG are entering their negotiations, or have been in negotiations this entire week. And it's going to continue into this next week. And hopefully, given the WGA win, SAG will also win. But that's not a guarantee. We'll have to see where it goes. The Lords of Salem's is Rob's best film. I actually agree that it's one of his best films. I think it and Devil's Rejects kind of go neck and neck for best film for me. But yeah. Give it a few years, we'll get something. Yeah, you may be right. Oh, man. I am out of water. Thirsty, thirsty boy. Anyway, my fellow Gorehounds, I'm probably going to wrap up this stream soon. So if you have any final questions or any final super chats, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, send them out now and I will answer them. And we'll wrap this up in the next few minutes. What case from the Warrens would you want for The Conjuring 4? I'll be honest, I just don't want a Conjuring 4 right now. I'm kind of tired of the Warrens and their whole grift. Aren't the Disney animators going on strike? Yeah, I did hear something about that. It was like the Disney animators, the Marvel effects team, and voice actors, I think, went on strike recently. Something like that. Hey, final question is, will you watch Army of the Dead 2? Yeah, I enjoyed the first Army of the Dead. And honestly, I want to see Army of the Dead 2 because one of the unfortunate parts of Army of the Dead, in my opinion, is because they had to remove that one dude from the movie, the cinematography for the movie got all fucked. I applaud them for doing it, but it did make the movie hard to watch visually. So I kind of want to see an Army of the Dead 2 that doesn't have that problem. What do you think of Rob Zombie doing a biography for Forrest Ackerman? Oh man, I think he'd put his heart into that the same way he did the Munsters. You know, it would not be the Rob Zombie movie you expect it to be. It would be a love letter. That's what I think would happen. What are your thoughts on the low-budget movie The Barn? Have I even seen The Barn? Let me check. See if this movie is familiar. Zoo, Halloween, 1989. Oh, yeah. I like this movie. I remember liking The Barn. The 2016 movie? Yep. Well, there you go. Let's see. Any final questions here? No, it looks like we're done. Thank you, my fellow Gorehounds, for tuning in to yet another Blood Splattered stream. Hopefully, if I didn't get to your questions, you will be there at the next stream to send your questions there. Unless I am gaming next stream, which is entirely possible. Victor Necrofunk, congratulations on having the poor timing of coming in at the very end of the stream. But thank you for being here regardless. And to answer your question, what the hell am I doing up? I couldn't sleep because I felt like shit mentally. Is what it is. Anyway, peace out, my fellow Gorehounds, and I will catch you all later.